Throughout the last couple of years of being somewhat of a music knowledge novice, I realize I don't really collect physical media. I mean, sure, I have thousands of albums that compose of music on my hard drive that I barely listen to, but that's finite. That stuff will rot in 20 years if you let it. I don't collect many records either, less often than I should have in 2025. I'm a nerd, but not a nerd. This led me down the path of looking through random people's Discogs collections, yearning for the things I want in life. I mean, look at this. Wouldn't you want it too? But when it comes to music nerds collecting records of all kinds, I've noticed something on my discoveries. I usually point out that they all lump into one or more of these categories. A. Collecting everything by your favorite band. I mean, Beatlemania existed for quite a bit, and you know that some of these people are still lingering among us. B. Collecting everything upon the relation of an individual. Rob Crow has so many bands that I don't doubt there's some intense fans out there. I mean, I've only ever listened to 3 of his projects, but, you know. C. Collecting everything that's under a record label, usually of the independent variety. You know, stuff like Touch and Go, SST, Discord, maybe Sub Pop. And finally, D. The accumulation of every copy of your favorite album. I mean, look at this. There's an exhibit of the most copies of the original pressings of the White Album. You guys are nuts. Impressive, but nuts. But more often than not, I fall into the C category. It wasn't even intentional. One day I just started noticing a pattern with my CDs. I had been listening to Betty Serveer's Palomine, and I recognized this flag in the back cover. Then I realized it was on a bunch of my other records as well. Now I got Worry, Twin Fantasy, White Chocolate Space Egg, The Twits, I Could Hear the Heart Beating as One, and even Pavement Star Twilight, which, spoiler alert, is my favorite Pavement record. Then I began to notice something else. It wasn't a flag, it was a capote, and it had words on it, you illiterate dumbass. The moment I realized that I had quite a bit of music from Matador Records as catalog sent me into a digging spree. If Matador had put out stuff I like, I must like everything else they put out. I gotta listen to it all. That was the moment I realized I held the habits of Category C. If I was in the completionist phase, I was required to listen to all 1,000 plus releases Matador put out of the years since their inception in 1989. But I needed to understand them too. Beer and Pavement started a section of their blog back in 2016 titled Matador 100, a series of short write-ups of the first 100 records that Matador put out. They only went up to number 28 with a Shams's Quilt before their last overall entry in 2021, but it did get some nice, albeit small, reception. Someone tried their hand at the craft before I even did. It's a shame they stopped while they were only a quarter ahead, but it's a daunting task and I don't blame them. But I wanted to carry that torch. Instead of writing about the albums that only Matador put out like Beer and Pavement did, I felt like putting another step forward. Very much inspired by, and totally ripped off, Paparita's Knick-Knack series, I wanted to make a video series on my exploration into Matador Records, considered one of the best record labels of the 1990s. Each video will go into an extensive deep dive into every artist and band that ever put out a compilation, album, single, anything, through the independent rock tastemaker. I'm hoping this series will introduce some hidden favorites for me and hopefully the rest of my younger generation, and serve as a permanent documentation of just what kind of a standout Matador is to other labels of their time. I'm not good at mission statements, and I don't think this series necessarily needs one, but if I'm forced to half-ass, it's to ask the ultimate question. Is Matador the most important independent label of the 1990s, and so on? The audience already knows their answer, but I want to make a judgment for myself. Here's some ground rules for how I'm going to go about this. Every artist and band with a standalone release, any album, single, extended play, compilation, or miscellaneous release of the label will get its own episode. If one Matador artist collaborates with somebody that wasn't on the label before, they will not get their own episode, unless they collab for more than 2 albums on Matador or otherwise. For example, Yo La Tengo has collaborated with Jad Fair for 1 album, Strange But True. Jad Fair has not made anything standalone for Matador, so he won't get his own episode, which is quite a relief. However, if a Matador artist has a split single with a non-Matador artist in a non-collaborative fashion, for example, Stephen Malkmus of the Jicks back with LA Guns, both will receive their own episode, whether you like it or not. I will also do episodes on specific events, soundtracks, and compilations that I deem special enough for an episode. I will not do a deep dive on an artist that was scheduled for a Matador release but later cancelled, but I will include them in a standalone episode covering cancelled releases from their specific decade. There will be an episode based on cancelled Matador releases of the 1990s and, if necessary, the 2000s. Keep in mind, this is going to be an over 200 episode affair. Will I finish this series before every news outlet sets up a paywall? Probably not, we'll see. The future's unclear. But for now, open up those gates because I'm seeing red. OLE, a Matador Records retrospective, is now coming towards a YouTube channel near you. Or this one, because it's ravaging at high speeds. It's coming soon.